and happy at home, making the best of some solo time to come out of this quarantine period healthier than you've ever been before. So we have some questions that have been accumulating from our Instagram Q&As, and as you guys know, periodically the questions become more than I can possibly keep up with in the Instagram limit of 100 stories a day. So we get in here and catch up, and I get to connect with you guys a little bit more. It's so much fun. And I've got a couple pages here of questions that we're going to go through. And of course, you guys can send in questions as we're going. That way, it becomes more interactive, which is always the highlight of doing this for me. That's why I love doing these lives together, because we can actually have a little bit of a chat. And I've never done this, but maybe on Instagram they do have the thing where if you want, you can request to join. If you want to ask a question live like that, that's also a possibility. Or you could just type it in. Okay, so are you guys ready? Should we start, or should we let more people come in? What do you think? Should we get going here? Let's just get right to it. And if you see me always reaching forward like this, it's because on Instagram they got this thing where you can wave at people as they come in, and I just like to show you guys some love. All right, so first question is, what dose of NMN take? Do you spread it throughout the day or all at once? So NMN, for those of you who might not be familiar with it, is a nicotinamide mononucleotide. And this is a precursor to NAD. NAD plays a key role in energy production and mitochondrial health in the body. So if you can keep NAD levels higher, your mitochondria are going to work better, means you have more energy, means every cell in your body has more energy to do what it needs to do. Your body can detoxify better, you can live longer. That's one of the big things about optimizing NAD levels, is that you have the possibility of living a lot longer. It's one of the most promising things for life extension. There's many other benefits. Back in February, there was a very interesting animal fertility study in elderly rats that was fascinating. So with NMN, it's an expensive supplement, I'll tell you that. And there's not a lot of places to get it. And you ideally want to get it in a liposomal form for optimal absorption, because if it goes too much through digestion, it's very sensitive, and it can also be broken down into pure nicotinamide, which is actually potentially not so good for you. So the question is, how much do I take, and do I spread it throughout the day or all at once? How much is funny, because how much I take depends on kind of like how much chocolate we're selling, because it's an expensive supplement. So when things are going better, I will partake in a bit more NMN. When things are a little slower, then maybe I scale back NMN consumption. But yeah, I'll break it up throughout the day. Ana Blanca is on a more regimented dose of about 350 milligrams a day, which I believe she breaks into 3 different doses. So that's that. NMN is very exciting stuff. It's really right on the cutting edge, and it's going to be fun to see how the research expands and grows in the next couple of years with this. And hey, I want to say hi to all you guys just jumping in here. Masha, hi, how are you doing? So good to see you. Hope you're well. You guys, if you have questions as we're going, shoot them in. I got my list here that I'm working through, but I love having the live questions too. Next one is, what have you heard about Neem? Positive things? Thank you. Yeah, lots of positive things about Neem. We were talking about it just the other day for some things like bacterial vaginosis. Neem, for No Funk Planet, it's NMN, nicotinamide mononucleotide. N as in Nancy, M as in Mary, N as in Nancy, M as in Mary, N as in Nancy. Back to Neem. We were talking about it the other day in the context of bacterial vaginosis. It's a natural antibacterial, antifungal, antimicrobial, kind of the short version of the Neem kills everything. So it's not a tonic herb. It's not something you want to take for extended periods of time as a daily part of your protocol, but it is a great thing to take for sorting out bacterial issues, viral issues, things like that. And you take it for maybe 4 weeks, maybe 6 weeks, maybe 2 months. I wouldn't go too much longer than that. And it's it's a good problem solver, is how I would put it. And it's also used in dental products because it has shown benefits for gingivitis and plaque, interestingly. Neem is antiviral, says Wes. Yes, I agree with you. And a contraceptive for guys, yes, potentially, but I wouldn't rely on it as your only contraceptive. And it smells pretty darn bad, so I don't know if you want to be putting that in your romance experience. I will leave that up to you and your partner to decide if that's something you want to do or if you want to explore some potentially other solutions. Your call. What are my favorite spirulina and chlorella supplements? Spirulina and chlorella and all other basically products from other companies, you can always find our favorites at addictivewellness.com/FP. That's F as in Frank, P as in Paul, stands for favorite products. We put together an Amazon page where we've kind of curated all our favorite stuff from other companies, and that's where you can find them. Lower back pain protocol. Well, that's tricky because a lot of this would depend on what is causing your back pain. Did you have like an acute injury, or are you just is it an adrenal issue potentially? What is causing it? Like, do you have like degeneration? Do you have arthritis? Like, I don't know what's going on in your case, but so because I can't provide a real specific answer there, I will just go and look at it from the Taoist herbalism perspective. And that is, from their perspective, lower back pain is a sign of Jing depletion or Jing insufficiency, being your core kidney adrenal essence, your reserve energy supply. And this is something that you guys may have heard me talk about it before, but I'm going to go into it again for anybody who's watching that hasn't. And this is something that is good reminded of, even if you already know about it. So Jing is something that you inherit from your parents. It's like a trust fund that you get, and some people start with a lot. Some people don't get much at all. Ariana, you have lower back pain too? Well, maybe this helps you. I hope so. So with Jing, you would get it from your parents. It depends how healthy they were, how much vitality they had, what their diets were like, what their parents' diets were like, and it's your reserve energy. It's your. It starts out as your trust fund, and then you could think of it as like your savings account. So this is your kidney adrenal reserve. It's your hormonal reserves, and then you use this as you go through life. You use it little by little, ideally, and eventually you run out, and then that's the end of this lifetime when you have no more Jing left. Now, you could be really mindful of the way you live and use Jing little by little by little and live a long, magical life, or maybe you just want to burn through it real fast and die of a heart attack at 55, but you lived a wild life, and who am I to judge? But the ways that we leak Jing or burn through our Jing are excessive stress, not sleeping enough, poor diet, taking lots of stimulants to keep us going instead of taking proper care of ourselves. Like if you absolutely rely on coffee to function, well, then you probably got a deeper issue that you might want to address there. And then there are Taoist yogic techniques potentially to build back the Jing, and then you can look at the Jing herbs. This is my favorite area, right? So you look at our recharge chocolate. That is a chocolate where we put 6 of my favorite Jing building herbs in there. There you have cordyceps, hoshu wu, eucommia, cistanche, rhamania, and morinda. 6 great herbs to know about. Then other ones that work in that department as well. Reishi is a famous 3-treasure herb, so it does have some Jing action going on there as well. Then you could look at things like let's see, deer antler would be one from the animal world, or polyrachis would be another one from the animal world. You could look at, for example, Dragon Herbs has a product called Healer's Tea that has dendrobium in there as the main Jing ingredient. Schizandra, another 3-treasure herb that builds Jing, Qi, and Shen. We have a great video, if you haven't seen it, on our YouTube channel about the 3 treasures if you want to learn more about this perspective on things. But building the Jing, especially something like eucommia that strengthens ligaments and tendons and muscles and their integrity, that's a great one to look at. And then you may look at, like, what's your bed like? Are you sleeping on a quality mattress? Or are you sitting in poor posture, or something like? There's so many different things that can play a factor. You could look at taking something like MSM. MSM, especially combined with vitamin C, works much better. And that is really going to help with tendons and muscles and ligaments and relaxing, and also supplementing with magnesium for muscle tightness could be potentially helpful there, or taking baths with magnesium salts, like magnesium chloride, and at a high level. And then you could also go to our Amazon page, addictivewellness.com/FP, and you'll see something there called old-fashioned peppermint liniment, kind of a wild name, but the key ingredient in there is DMSO, which can really help with muscle pain as well. So hopefully some of the options there will turn out to be helpful for you. Hello, everybody who's just dropping in. So good to see you guys. Thanks for joining. All right, so on to the next question, and you guys keep shooting the questions my way. Well, I love when this gets a bit interactive. Can you offer some more advice for frequent bacterial vaginosis sufferer? Okay, so we talked about this the other day in Instagram stories, but I'm happy to go through it again. So you want to look first here at what the probiotic strains specifically are that are going to be the most beneficial for this. And these are Lactobacillus acidophilus, one of the classics. Then you have Lactobacillus rhamnosus, then Lactobacillus crispatus, and Lactobacillus fermentum. RC14 is a specific version of that. It's a special kind. So those are ones that have been specifically studied for bacterial vaginosis. Then you want to really support your immune system. So you want to make sure that you are getting the proper sleep, taking the immune supportive herbs, not having lots of sugar, trying to minimize stress, taking things like astragalus and reishi, and you could look at things like Paudiark, cat's claw, and cordyceps. So many options to really support your immune system to keep healthy bacterial balance. And then avoid intercourse, because you could pass it to your partner and they pass it back to you, and then you sort it out, and then it just keeps popping back and forth between the two of you, and even though one of you sorts it out at a time, it just keeps going back to the other one. Don't be douching. And then you could take baths with either apple cider vinegar or with baking soda. Go for a non-GMO source baking that doesn't have aluminum in it, ideally. And those can be helpful too. But the biggest things, I think, are going to be immune support and getting on some of these really great probiotic strains. Next question. Oh, this is going to be fun. It's always fun to talk about alkaline water. Does a Kangen water system really provide significant results on improving overall wellness? Maybe in the short term. Maybe. So with doing Kangen water or any kind of alkaline water, in some cases, it's not even going to be very well purified, right? The first thing you want to ask is, how well is this system purifying your tap water that's running through it? Second thing is alkaline water itself a good idea? No. Here's why. It's a short-term solution, but it's like a synthetic drug in that way. It will certainly shift pH in your body if you drink enough of it. And I there was, when I was 18, alkaline water was first becoming a thing in my world, and I didn't fully understand. I was just coming out of high school. What did I know? I was determined to become alkaline. I was drinking 6 to 8 liters of alkaline water a day, saying I'm gonna do this. It's gonna transform me. It's gonna be amazing. But here's the thing: it may make you more alkaline, and you will experience certain health benefits because you've alleviated systemic acidity from poor diet, from stress, things like this. And then what's going to happen is it's going to catch up with you, because when you look at natural water in nature, spring water, it's maybe slightly alkaline, maybe slightly acidic, never too far off from neutral pH. So this is not the kind of nature's design. When we drink alkaline water, diluting and offsetting our digestive acids and our enzymes, so it's going to be impairing nutrient absorption and impairing stool elimination, so you're not going to get the goodness out of the food you're eating, and you're going to be blocked up. Neither of those, to me, sounds like a whole lot of fun, and I don't think you really want that either. So go for a very well purified water, or go for a high quality spring water if you have access to one. I would not waste time and money on alkaline water, because long term, I think it's going to be more detrimental than helpful. And the other thing is, the multi-level scene, I am so allergic to that even if it was good for you, I probably would not go for it. The thing with the multi-levels, the way it's structured, is because you got to feed the whole system, you end up paying way more than the product is actually worth, just because you got to feed the upstream or whatever they call it. So there's always a better way. And here it's a bad system, and it's not a really healthy thing anyways. Yeah, Heidi says, such a fad. Yeah, alkaline water it's not a good idea. People have good intentions, but you know what else I want to mention? So if you're not getting alkaline from alkaline water, what are you supposed to do? Well, two things. On one level, you're supposed to cultivate alkalinity, or at least a healthy pH balance, from having lots of green leafy vegetables in your diet, which are going to be beneficial for you in so many ways. And then the other thing is, and this is even more powerful than having green leafy vegetables for alkalinity, is that you need to breathe deeply. And this is wild, but deep breathing is the fastest way to change your pH. You can test your pH and go do a couple rounds of really powerful Wim Hof breathing and test your pH again, and drastically more alkaline than you were even a few minutes ago. So ultimately, green vegetables, really good, even better, a great breathing practice. As somebody's asking about a Berkey filter, that's fine. It's not the most epic form of filtration, but it doesn't alkalize the water. And then another question was coming up here on YouTube about my favorite probiotic. So in lots of cases, if you have a specific health issue you're trying to address with a probiotic, it's worth doing a bit of research and finding which probiotic strains have been shown to be beneficial for that issue. And that may be the way to getting to results fastest, like we were talking about earlier with bacterial vaginosis. Things like the Lactobacillus crispatus and Lactobacillus rhamnosus, these have been studied specifically for that and shown to be very efficacious. If you're just looking for something for general, microbiome support, I would share that you should look for a spore-based probiotic, because these are actually going to be able to survive the harsh digestive environment where most probiotics are destroyed. So you can take the greatest probiotic. If it doesn't have what's called survivability, meaning it can survive the digestive environment and actually make it to the colon and implant, then what's the point? You're not actually getting anything out of it. So here you want to look at, a couple good brands, for example, would be Just Thrive, or Seed Probiotic is another good one, and Megaspore is another one, but that one I think you have to get through practitioners. All right, hang on, let's see here. How can you neutralize rogue iron in your system, and how can you help oxygenate your blood and tissue? Excess gone rogue. If you have too much iron in your system, because you supplemented with too much, maybe you may have to go about like chelating some out, or just donating blood is the fastest way to get too much iron out of your system, really. To help oxygenate blood and tissue, you can take supplements like rhodiola and cordyceps, are two great herbs to enhance oxygen utilization. And you can do various forms of breathing practices, like one great one, my personal favorite for really oxygenating the whole system, is the Wim Hof method. Baking soda and water for gout, okay. Yeah, potentially. I would also look at other decalcifiers, things like MSM combined with vitamin C, and potentially also Shilajit. Those can help to break up the calcifications. Let's see, what's the best parasite cleanse? I have actually a whole video post that we're working on, so I'm going to save that one for later. But we'll have a video posted about that soon. We have some Loves Mega Probiotic, very cool. Cordyceps Mustafa from the marrow molecular, essentially. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but it's a nice combination of words. Okay, next question on the list. By the way, you guys, thank you for being here. It's so fun to hang with you. Did you work on a business plan, and how long did it take? Yes, we put a lot of energy into writing our business plan, including a full 3-year ultra detailed financial forecast. I mean, the whole thing was, I think, like 40 pages. Not the financial forecast was off to the side. The business plan itself was like 40 pages full. Competition analysis, strategy, everything. And sorry, I'm trying to understand, Cordyceps Mustafa, what you're saying there. Carbon fiber plasmic potential. Sweet. I don't know what's going on. Back to our business plan. And so we worked on this for about 6 months. It was a lot of collecting information, figuring out like what stores we're going to be working with, and speaking with distributors. At the time, we thought we would go direct to retail, and then eventually, maybe 3 to 6 months later, start selling through distributors and from them to stores. Turned out the more we learned about it, you have to give such a big piece of the pie to distributors. You end up giving them somewhere between like 25 to 40% of the wholesale price of the product, and so that just drives things up drastically. And we use such expensive ingredients, we didn't have really the margins to do something like that. So that's why we now we have put in the work, and it's taken a lot of time on the phones to sell through hundreds of stores across the country, which have pretty much all come from me just cold calling them. And so that is how we did it. And of course, online, I'm super grateful for you guys who order from us through the internet, especially now more than ever, because most of a lot of places anyways that carry our products are closed down right now or experiencing very diminished sales. And so like I want to say I am so grateful to everyone who orders from us. And I want to share that literally every time an online order comes in, I get a notification that pops up on my phone. I open it up, I look and see who the person was and what they ordered, and I literally say to myself with each one, I look at the person's name, say the name is Mary Poppins. I say, thank you so much, Mary Poppins. Thank you so much. I say this for every single order that comes in. So if you've placed an order on our website, know that you have been on the receiving end of my gratitude from a distance. Heidi asking, do we still ship to Australia? Yes, we do. We're still shipping very few actually international shipping restrictions at the moment, and we're still able to ship to Australia no problem. We had a funny one today. Shipped a couple weeks ago, a guy paid for to ship via just like first class packaging, which gets there in like 2 to 3 weeks to Singapore. He ordered a black ginger. It arrived sort of, but he opened it up and the package was empty. Of course, we didn't send him an empty package. Customs there just took it out, sealed the package back up, and sent it along to him. So somebody in customs is enjoying customs in Singapore is enjoying the fabulous benefits of Thai black ginger, and the customer is not. So we gotta get him sent a replacement. But that usually does not happen. Usually international shipping goes without a hiccup. All right. So just to finish up thoughts on the business plan, it takes time, but it's so worth it. At that early stage, we thought our kind of vision was that we wanted to bring in some fairly significant investment money. As we went along, our vision changed to say we just want to do our best on our own, and it's gonna go slower, but it's gonna be more sustainable. We keep the total control. We don't have to have pressure from some investor saying, hey, I know you want to spend 4 times as much money on that super high quality ashwagandha, but you need to use this other one because we need to improve margins. We don't have to answer to anybody. We get to, do things exactly the way we're passionate about, which is maximum potency, maximum quality, which I often do at the detriment of making money, but it's just more fun and I can feel genuinely good about it, knowing I'm putting the best product possible out there, like the chaga that we use in our beauty chocolate. Costs 4 times as much as just about any chaga out there because it is sensational. I still don't sell it as an individual ingredient because I just don't think people would pay that much for it individually, but in the chocolate, I couldn't use anything else. It's so amazing. Next question. Help with losing hair. I have Hashimoto's and Epstein-Barr virus. I take natural thyroid medication. I take vitamin C, D, A, and B12. Okay, so you're covering a lot of good stuff there. Having the combination of Hashimoto's and Epstein-Barr is a tough one. You could start looking at some natural antivirals, things like cat's claw, and see if you can do something like that without flaring up your Hashimoto's too much. It's tricky when you have autoimmune and then a virus. You don't want to overstimulate the immune system necessarily, but you could look into potentially things like astragalus and cat's claw. Certainly reishi mushroom would be a great one for a number of reasons because stress is a huge issue here. One of the greatest things you can do for yourself in the areas of autoimmune and thyroid is minimize stress. And so maybe you're doing that through just breath work and meditation if lots of supplements are too stimulating for the immune system. Maybe you're taking reishi mushroom because of its immunomodulatory effects. Maybe Writing in a journal or getting exercise or just spending time in nature. If you're somewhere where that's still legal, it's crazy. If you're somewhere where that's still legal, figuring out ways or finding supplements, maybe taking magnesium glycinate or magnesium L-threonate can help you on the stress side of things. So working out the stress is going to be one of the most impactful things here. Hang on, I'm just making sure everything's not running out of battery. You got to work on the stress. Other things that can be helpful there, certainly like MSM, fish oil, sea vegetables are one of my favorites because you're getting iodine in a whole food form. This is different than taking iodine as a supplement, which can be actually problematic, but if you're taking things like kelp and bladderwrack and guggenheim, these are whole food form iodine, so very nutrient dense. So it's going to be providing you lots of great minerals for healthy hair, but also providing food source iodine, much safer for the thyroid. And then, you may also consider ashwagandha. Some people don't vibe with it because it's a nightshade. For the vast majority of people, it's not a problem. And, I've spoken with quite a few people who say ashwagandha gives me a little bit more inflammation as a nightshade because I have a nightshade sensitivity. It helps me with my thyroid so much that I like to offset that with a little bit of systemic enzymes, something like a serrapeptase on an empty stomach, and then you get the best of both worlds. But that's something that you really have to work out with a practitioner, somebody who's carefully monitoring your situation because of how sensitive autoimmune conditions are. And then ultimately, another big thing you have to pay attention to with autoimmune is gut health. It's a huge part of the underlying cause of autoimmunity is gut health problems. So having really high quality probiotics, having a diet that has a lot of fermented foods in it, having good prebiotic foods coming in. You can even look at like chocolate with its great prebiotic fibers and other similar things. Like, you can look at like Jerusalem artichoke inulin or many different forms of prebiotic fiber. And then you could look at Ion Biome, I wanted to mention, which is a terahydrite supplement that close up the tight junctions in the gut that get opened up through damage over time by antibiotics, by pesticides, various things. And these leak food particles that are not fully digested into the bloodstream, causing inflammation, causing autoimmunity, bad news. But this Ion Biome can help close those tight junctions back up so that's not happening, and that also creates a nicer environment for healthy bacteria to settle in. It's like you're creating a nice community where the good bacteria, the healthy, wholesome bacteria families want to go because like it's safe, there's nice schools, there's not a lot of crime, it's a good place, they want to be there. All right, next question. What do you think is the nicest foreign language? That's interesting. Nicest could be interpreted a number of ways, like which is the friendliest or which is like nice, cool. The product from Purium, I don't know. I'm not sure what you're referring to. April Ree, help me understand what you're asking about there. So nicest foreign language. So here's my language breadth. Of course, English is my first language. Second language is Spanish, which I'm pretty much fluent in. Spent a lot of time in Costa Rica, and I live in Southern California, where if you make an effort and you're not during a time of social distancing, you can pretty much use it every day. When I was in high school, I was so determined to become fluent in Spanish that literally every day driving in the car, I was listening to nothing but Spanish radio. 107.1 Superestrella. 107.1 was like the station playing. They would have like talk radio and pop music all in Spanish, and that was my thing. And it worked. It was incredibly effective. As part of a lot of other stuff I was doing to really become proficient as well. But then third language, French, I'm moderately proficient, I would say. Can carry on a pretty good conversation. And then a bit of, I'm still working on the Hungarian with Ana Blanca. So Hungarian is lots of fun, very, very challenging, way more difficult than French or Spanish was. But, the nicest language, like French, is certainly very sounding. I don't know. I appreciate all languages that I've learned so far, and I can't really comment on the ones that I don't know yet. So I don't know that I would pick one as being the nicest over the others. The next question is, help with unexplained random 3.5 weight gain. I don't know if it's 3.5 kilos, 3.5 pounds. It's very normal through a woman's cycle as hormones are fluctuating for weight and water retention, etc., to go up and down. It's not going to be possible for me to definitively ascertain the reason for a little bit of weight gain without a full hormone panel, full metabolic panel, inspecting every area of your life and what you're doing right now. We're going through a wild period. Maybe you've been at home and not exercising as much, and you're doing a bit more eating, and you're a bit, down. And I don't know. I don't know what's going on the other end. So that's a tough one to answer. I'm sorry, I'm not really able to provide a lot more insight there without more background information. Next question is Ormus Gold, and I say it in that loud voice because it has 3 exclamation points. Okay, so first let me explain. I am really sold on Ormus Gold. There's probably a lot better ways and more efficacious things you can put your money into to benefit your health. But I will explain here what proponents of Ormus Gold say that it is. So they say that all elements, especially metals, have a normal form and an Ormus form. And normal form was a popped piece of popcorn. The Ormus form is the unpopped piece of popcorn. Or they use also the metaphor of saying it's like a chair. Ormus minerals, like Ormus Gold, Ormus Silver, Ormus Platinum, whatever. It's like a chair with 3 legs in this dimension and 1 in another dimension. It's out there. Maybe more than 1 leg in another dimension. So they're really unclear about what exactly the benefits are of it. There's certainly 0 actual clinical studies on it. Some people say you can take it and go, test it for gold, and there's no gold in there, and you put it in the sun, and it causes the popcorn to pop, and it turns into, and then you can test for gold. I don't know. I think, as I said, there's much better, more efficacious, well-proven ways to spend your money if you want to really benefit your health. If you're looking for something that's like really awesome and kind of fancy, go for NMN. Start taking some really high quality NMN every day and see what that does. Okay, next question. We're getting all kinds of questions here. Do you believe in mediums? I believe in mediums, but I kind of believe more in smalls and extra smalls and larges. Sorry, couldn't resist making the joke. I'm sure there are some people out there who genuinely have powers beyond the normal. I think they're probably a very small fraction of the people who claim to have such abilities. But it's hard to tell who's who. So I just focus on the present, my own thing. How to get rid of chronic yeast infections. Well, with yeast infections, it's kind of a candida issue. So I will go, into this in moderate length, and then if you want to go much, much deeper, we have a video on our YouTube channel that's like 2 hours long, really going ultra in depth. So when you're dealing with candida, step 1, for at least 6 months, maybe as long as 2 years, depending on the case. It's going to be a long time, for a lot of people, but it'll fly by, right? You're going to have to go without sugar for this time period. And so that means no fruit sugars. It means ultra minimization of carbs. If you're looking for a book that helps guide you through this, check out the Body Ecology Diet. And this is kind of the products that we have were built to carry people and fulfill their sweet tooth through candida cleansing. This is like what really got me to developing sugar-free things, was because I was healing from candida after many years on antibiotics in my teens, which left me with some serious. So as you're going through this, 1, you stop feeding the candida. You cut out sugar. 2, you upgrade your immune system so it has the tools to go after the candida. And so that's going to look like things like medicinal mushrooms, things like reishi, things like chaga. You stay off of the ground mushrooms, things like portobello, button. These things often can be contaminated with mold and actually make the candida situation worse. But these higher class of mushrooms, reishi, chaga, cordyceps, agaricus, maitake, these are super powerful mushrooms that if it's a high quality version of it, right? Obviously there's like crappy reishi out there, you don't know. there's really low quality of anything, right? But if it's a good quality, like you would get from us, it can be a great tool in enhancing your immune system's ability to go after the candida. Then, what other supplements can help go after the candida? Well, you would look at herbs like pau d'arco is a great, very powerful antifungal. And then another one would be berberine. This is an extract from Indian barberry that's very powerful at modulating the gut microbiome in a positive way. You can check out, like, I think it's berberine 500 is the name of the product from Thorne. So those are some really good options in terms of killing it off. And then you want to be putting in good bacteria as you're kind of cleaning house. Oh wait, no, another thing actually really good to add in is caprylic acid. This is C8 oil that is a specific concentrate from coconut oil that's great for energy, great for mental energy, physical, and very antifungal as well, very anti-candida. And then you putting in good bacteria. So taking a really high quality spore-based probiotic, eating lots of fermented foods, and this kind of leads you to a much healthier place in terms of your microbiome, and so hopefully you won't be having these issues anymore. All right. Masha asking about herbs and supplements to lower testosterone causing cyclic acne. You had your blood test done. You minimize sugar, very good. Taking Vitex, very good. Those are really the biggest ones that I would recommend without kind of having a close at blood tests and things like that. I would not be, and seeing where levels of other hormones and such are at, I wouldn't be yet prepared to recommend anything else. All right. Allergies to cleansing products. Wait, no, sorry. That was part of another question. What happened here? Okay, no, here's the next one. Scleroderma. Thoughts on anything that can help? Okay, well, scleroderma is an autoimmune condition where you're developing too much collagen. And so there's lots of things in terms of stretching and exercise to help modulate and just kind of doing your best as you're going along. But ultimately, there's not a silver bullet for this, right? That's what I want to really make clear. But like I said before, one of the most important things with autoimmunity is improving gut health and lowering gut permeability, closing up these tight junctions in the gut. So this is balancing the gut bacteria. This you do, like we were talking about, things like berberine, things like caprylic acid, reishi, chaga, pau, and supplementing with probiotics and prebiotics, and taking supplements like ion biome that help to close up the tight junctions in the gut. So I would recommend going at it very much from a gut health perspective. Do I have a recommended caprylic acid brand? A couple that you can look at. There's one you can get on Amazon at a pretty good price called Nuton, Nuton. You can get it at a higher price from Bulletproof. They sell it under the name Brain Octane Oil, or Thrive Market, if you're a member there, also has their own brand name, C8. Whoops. How do we get this turned around here? All right, back with you. Okay, so let's see. What do we have next? Chronic dry cough. Can't figure out what the root cause is. Herbs will help. Well, things that can cause dry cough can be, for example, postnasal drip, asthma, gastroesophageal reflux disorder. It could be a bronchitis. Like I don't have the ability to diagnose what's going on through the screen. I think you understand. Now, what can be helpful here? I can't be specific due to the fact that we don't know what's causing it, right? But let's just have a separate general conversation about my favorite lung supportive herbs. So my favorite lung herbs are astragalus and cordyceps. Those would be the top two. If I had to add a couple more, I would say maybe like Siberian ginseng, I think would have a worthy place on the list. But yeah, definitely cordyceps and astragalus would be my top two general lung health supportive herbs. With binders, clays or charcoal, is there any issue of using warm to hot water? Nope, totally fine. If you prefer taking your charcoal or your like bentonite clay with warm or hot water, go for it. Just, always good to take on an empty stomach, and make sure that you're not taking it near any important medications because it could potentially bind them up, and then you don't get the medications that you're supposed to be having. This is an interesting question. I have a lot of respect for this question. Long-term vegan, but considering starting to add some animal products. Where to even start? I respect that a lot because I was raised as a vegetarian. I did a number of years as a raw vegan and vegan. And then I really felt that I needed to add back in some select things from the animal world. So I focused on what are a couple things from the animal world that are maybe the least impactful in a negative way and can bring me the most disproportionately positive benefit. Like I'm looking for what can I have a small amount of that's going to be hugely beneficial. Here's how I kind of evolved back into it. Like the first thing I added back in was grass-fed ghee because of its omega-3s, because of it just acts as it's a Jing food, right? We were talking about Jing and that core kidney adrenal essence earlier. This is a great pure Jing food, very mineral rich, very high in vitamin K. It's a great hormonal precursor. It's a powerful stuff. The traditional Ayurvedic wisdom is that when you have grass is the purified essence of the sun. And then the cow eats the grass and makes milk. So the milk is the purified essence of the grass, which is the purified essence of the sun. Then you take the milk and you turn it into cream, the purified essence of the milk. Then you turn the cream into butter, which is the purified essence of butter is the purified essence of the cream. Then you turn the butter into ghee, so you have like the energy of the sun 5 times refined and purified. So that was the first thing that I added in, and I really felt the difference. And there's been times experimentally where I have stopped taking it for a bit, for a few weeks just to see, and I notice a diminished level of vitality that's very tangible. So Field of Prana says, I'm so glad you're talking about this. I was vegan 2 years and vegan adding ghee and now other animal products. So healing. Yes, ghee is a very healing food. Someone else is asking, is raw vegan even safe nutritionally? I tried it too. I think it's like there's ways to make it, like it's good in some ways. It's very cleansing, certainly, if done right. Like if you're just having a bunch of fruit all the time, not such a fan. But at the time I was doing it more like low sugar raw vegan, which is pretty unusual. So I think there's ways you can modify it to make it last and be semi-sustainable long, but I think it's probably not the ultimate long term. So I added in ghee. Then from there, let's see what came next. Goat cheese was another one. And that I just do from time to time. I really enjoy it. How do I eat ghee? Basically put it on anything. It makes just about anything taste better. Then, to Field of Prana asking the next question. Do I take colostrum? And you say, I don't know if I spelled it right. No, you spelled it wrong, but it's okay. You're close enough. Spelling sometimes is overrated. It's Colostrum. Colostrum being the very immunological transfer factor rich food that goes initially from the cow to the baby, and they are always making more than they necessarily need. So this is amazing for immune enhancement, for gut healing. It was a major turning point actually in me healing candida, incorporating colostrum. So that's something to mention there as well. Very healing for the gut, really helps to heal the microvilli in the intestines, and very restorative, very immune enhancing with these immune transfer factors that you can get from it. So colostrum is a very good one, and you can make some delicious ice creams with it. And then, so Marie, you're saying, do I have collagen? Yeah, that's something that I've added only just barely in the last year or so. I do grass-fed collagen. I do it a couple times a week. Really enjoy that as well. I feel more of a, I want to say, structural, like tendon, ligament, muscle integrity in my body personally from having that. And then what else? I haven't yet gotten to the stage, I'm still warming up into this animal world because I grew up as a vegetarian. I've never eaten like actual meat in my life. I take fish oil, And that is really great to be able to get those high doses of long chain omega-3s. You're asking about a brand for colostrum. Check out Maclo Valley Naturals is really nice. They do a really nice grass-fed colostrum. We're good friends with the folks who do that. They're really sweet people. Another potentially something to consider. Wait, no, before I get to that, no, I was going to say organ meats. Like, you could cook it, but if you're long-term vegan, that's probably out of your comfort zone, I'm guessing, at this stage. I respect that. You can get them in capsules, like you can get it from like companies like Dr. Ron's or Paleo Valley, do very high quality grass-fed organ meats where they've been dried and powdered, and it's just a capsule that's a lot more tolerable for a lot of people in terms of the experience. Those are very powerful. They contain these peptides that are like hormonal precursors. Very, very strong, powerful stuff. I also really enjoy times a week Polyrhacus ant, which is these big black Chinese mountain ants. No, I do not eat them whole. I have an extract powder of them that we import for personal use. But you can get that in capsules or in tincture from Dragon Herbs. Very, very high in ATP. Actually the highest natural source of zinc. So very, very nutrient dense, and the energy for them is spectacular. Very powerful chi tonic. Let's see here. Brand for fish oil, I take it from Carlson's. It's the cleanest tasting that I've experienced. And that's a big deal, because the worst with some fish oils and even some algae oils is like the fishy burp afterwards. It's like, blah. I don't mind the taste of this one at all. It's very, very clean tasting. And it's properly harvested sustainably as well. So that is my foray into animal foods. Like, I would say, yeah, try ghee is a great place. Fish oil, start getting really high quality long chain omega-3s in. And maybe consider some organ meat capsules. Look at maybe taking like some liver would be a nice place to start. Liver is one of the most spectacularly nutrient dense things in the world. All right, let's see. We're coming to the end here. So if you guys have any questions that you've been holding on to, now's the time to put them out there, because this is the last question that I have on my list for now. What sauna option would you recommend for someone with financial limitations? So with this, it's tricky because there's lots of inexpensive saunas out there. Most of them are giving off really high levels of EMF. Most don't have really good warranties. They're don't necessarily test for VOCs, volatile organic compounds, that are going to be off-gassing. So I'd be very wary of buying an inexpensive sauna. I do have a lot of experience here because I work. My second job is working with my family with Clearlight saunas. So I not only do I use a sauna every day personally, I'm looking at it right over there, but I have a lot of experience in the side. So I would say, because like for a Clearlight sauna, pricing starts around like the mid 3,000s, and it goes all the way up to much higher for kind of bigger ones and outdoor units. So worth it, and you can pay it off over time on zero interest programs and things like that. But if you are really budget limited, you could look at like the Sauna Wraps from Higher Dose. I've never been in one of those. I don't know what the comfort level is like, and I'm sure it's different for different people, and you got to put towels in there to soak up all the sweat, so it's a little bit more, I don't know, not necessarily as simple as just walking in a sauna and closing the door behind you. But those were designed by the founder of Clearlight Saunas and the developer, so they have a nice amount of EMF shielding in there that's going to make it really safe, which is really important. So that's one option. You can use a discount code. You can use the code HEALWITHHEAT, all those one word, and that'll save you, I believe, 15% off of those. And if you don't want to go that route and you want to kind of wait till you can maybe afford a cabin sauna that's going to be really the highest quality, you can do hot baths. You can, if you take an hour-long hot bath, you can produce heat shock proteins like you would produce in a sauna. Not necessarily at quite the same level, but it's something that doesn't cost you anything except for your water bill. It can be very relaxing. Buy some really high-quality magnesium bath salts. like you can get from Ancient Minerals is the company. Pour those in the bath and do that on a regular basis and enjoy this kind of staycation quarantine. And yeah, get the hot baths going. You can achieve production of heat shock proteins like that. And start to get some of the benefits that you would get with a sauna. Ideally, I'm sure you're going to want to, get a cabin sauna all in good time, right? And when you do want to, send us a DM. Let me know. I'll do my best to help you out and get you the best price possible. All right. Question about vitamin D lamps and vitamin D light boxes. You're in Canada. I would say that's a very reasonable thing to explore. I don't have a lot of in-depth knowledge at this stage about the safety of them, and I'm sure there might be some variation between different brands. So just, do your due diligence on the safety in terms of the wavelengths you're being exposed to and how long you're supposed to be exposed. But yeah, if you're in Canada, doing a vitamin D light could be very interesting. Of course, the other route is just supplementing with vitamin D, which could be really great as well. Always just make sure you're taking vitamin D2 with it. A few people just joining in at the very end here. We're just finishing up. But if you guys missed this whole thing, or if you want to go back and watch something from earlier, it's totally possible. So there's many ways. For the next 24 hours, you can watch this on Instagram, and then it's also going to be up permanently on our Facebook page and on our YouTube. So if you want to go back and review and listen to stuff again, or if you want to leave another question, well, questions, send those in the Q&A box in Instagram, and we'll get to those in the next Q&A session. But if you want to rewatch from today, Facebook and Instagram will be the place to do that at any time. And then just, Facebook and YouTube anytime. Instagram, we've been going too long here. Instagram anytime in the next 24 hours. Asia Cass says, what do you think about Juve? Great. Very cool. I have the Juve Goes, the handheld ones, both the red and the near infrared. Really like them. Their bigger products are great too. The people who do that business are good personal friends, very nice people, and they make quality stuff. I also use a different, Clearlight has their own red and near infrared light panel that I have in the sauna. That one's different because with the Juve ones, if you look in their manual, they're not designed to operate above 90 degrees Fahrenheit in terms of ambient temperature. So the sauna would be not a functional environment for them. But with the Clearlight one, this one actually mounts on the door panel of the sauna and has a very advanced, kind of loud but very powerful maglev fan cooling system so that it can keep working in the sauna. It's nice. I really enjoy being able to combine those two things because so much healthy stuff you want to do, but only so much time in the day, right? So that's my approach to that. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope everyone's doing well. Looking forward to continuing more Q&As in the Instagram stories throughout the rest of, we're almost at the end of the week, through Friday and the weekend and next week and for the foreseeable future. So thanks again. Have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you soon. Goodbye, YouTube.